Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, April 29th. Currently, we have quite a bit of prescribed fire still occurring across the Great Basin due to some tempered conditions with some moisture moving through over the last couple of weeks. Otherwise, a few new wildfires you can see here over the last couple of days in yellow, which is again not abnormal for the time of year. The largest was a fire in northern Utah last week. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've had precipitation mainly move across the northern 2/3 and western areas of the Great Basin. Over the last 2 weeks, these areas up in Idaho into northern Utah have been above normal for the time of year, and even some areas in central Nevada have seen above normal precipitation. However, other areas of Nevada into Utah have seen below normal precipitation. In some areas in the south, almost nothing. Over the last 72 hours, we have had new snowfall in the higher terrain of parts of central Idaho and then into far eastern Idaho, Wyoming, and especially the higher terrain of Utah. And even some areas in central and eastern Nevada have seen some snowfall in the higher elevations amounting to 6 or 8 inches. Currently, our snowpack is still well below normal, and we obviously don't anticipate that to change at this point in the season. So any new snowfall we do get over the next week or so, which we will get some additional snow again through the next 7 days, obviously will not make any impact to our current snowpack, but it will temper some of our higher elevation fuels and keep the fuel moisture a bit higher. Looking at our water vapor satellite imagery from this morning, we do have an area of low pressure well off the California coast, and this will track eastward across northern Mexico over the next several days, and also a broad trough covering much of the west, which is bringing us some cloud cover and isolated showers across parts of Idaho into the eastern half of the Great Basin, and this will continue for the next couple of days as that trough slowly moves off to the east. We will see high pressure building in behind it, so we will see gradual warming temperatures to well above normal before the next system impacts us later this weekend into next week. So looking at some of the details, again, you can see the areas of low pressure here off the coast and then over the Great Basin. So near that area of low pressure in the Great Basin is where we'll see those scattered showers. Today, lightning potential still remains relatively low, but certainly couldn't rule out some isolated lightning as well. Dispersion should remain good, especially over the eastern half of the Great Basin and a little bit lower up north in Idaho and in Nevada. And you can see the winds really aren't all that gusty, but just enough to keep that dispersion a bit higher in Utah. Otherwise, very light wind flow in Nevada. Mixing heights remain high. Temperatures will be generally near normal or a few degrees above normal today across the Great Basin, with drier conditions over the southern half of the region where we'll see those relative humidity in the single digits or teens. Otherwise, higher humidity will continue across the north and into northern Utah. As we move into Thursday, this area of low pressure that's been impacting the Great Basin moves off into the plains, but still some remnant moisture between that and the low that's moving by to our south to give us possibly some isolated showers yet again on Thursday, mainly in Utah. Otherwise, high pressure continues to build in off the west coast with continued warming temperatures and drier conditions for western and northern areas. Dispersion remains fairly good region-wide, although again, wind flow not overly strong, just some breezy winds, maybe in the teens and 20s over the eastern half of the Great Basin with continued high mixing heights. Temperatures warm a few degrees more on Thursday, so remaining just above normal. Otherwise, relative humidity will start to drop a bit in the north and continue to remain low in the far south and over western areas. As we move into Friday, we will have more high pressure building in across the region, so warmer temperatures later this week, and they will peak this weekend. Otherwise, some remnant moisture for some cloud cover, maybe a few isolated showers in eastern Utah, with dispersion remaining generally high over the eastern areas and much lower in western Nevada and central Idaho. Looking at the wind flow, you can see just some wind gusts in parts of Utah, otherwise generally light winds across the western half of the Great Basin with continued high mixing heights. Temperatures continue to warm, so we will be several degrees above normal, about 5 to 7 degrees above normal over western areas and up north, and generally just a few degrees above normal in the east. Otherwise, relative humidity continues to dry out as the ridge builds in region-wide. 3-day precipitation you can see with the area of low pressure tracking over the region the next couple of days. Any shower activity will be on the light side, more convective in nature, so we will see that especially focused in the higher terrain, but amounts should be on the low side, and again with that isolated lightning potential. Forecast new snowfall. This is just through Friday, so this system moving through will have the potential with the colder temperatures and the higher elevations to bring some new snowfall, but generally on the light side with just a few inches. Looking at the weekend, we will see the next area of low pressure move in off the Pacific, and this will bring a better chance for cloud cover, maybe some isolated showers on Saturday into the western half of the Great Basin. As we move into Sunday and Monday is when moisture really should start to increase, and we will see scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially across Nevada and possibly up into Idaho before the low starts to track east across the Great Basin going into early next week. So most of this precipitation will be focused over the northern half to 2/3 of the region, but we will see some decent amounts across the Great Basin with this system, along with increased lightning potential. So looking at the 7-day total precipitation, you can see much of this next system moving in this weekend into next week will impact the western half of the Great Basin with the highest amounts in the Sierra, but still some good showers across the northern half of the state. Otherwise, this precipitation to the east is really what's impacting us the next couple of days. New snowfall through next Tuesday, so we will see additional snowfall with this next system moving in this weekend and next week, so additional amounts for the eastern half of the region in the higher terrain and also in the Sierra and parts of Nevada. The 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us from May 6th through the 12th, shows warmer conditions still continuing out west, but still the potential for above normal precipitation, especially over the southern half of the region. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.